At one point or another during your career, I am sure you've been asked that one work initiative to do that has made you question whether or not you wanted to actually continue to pursue the career you were in. I'm sure you've been asking yourself during that time, should I actually continue with this job? I don't want to do this task. Maybe you're just regretting the life choices you've actually made. The reality is that I think a lot of professionals, including myself, has actually gone through that same feeling. I've been in positions and done things and worked on work initiatives that has made me feel like maybe this is not the right choice for me, and I'm sure I'm not the only one. In this video, I'm actually going to share with you one of the projects that made me feel like, you know what, maybe I shouldn't be a project manager, and then what I learned from that experience after conquering that project. I'm your host, Darius, and I'm here to help you master the art of project management. But before we get started, please, if you like the video, please like the video. It doesn't cost you much. And just also subscribe to the channel if you would like to see more content on project management and moving work initiatives forward. But with that said, and without further ado, let's jump right in. So let's set the scene. My first project was also one of my toughest projects. And I have to say this because it was such a beast of a project. It required 2,600 volunteers to participate in a one-night count of who was experiencing homelessness at the time. It was something that required the entire city of New York and a lot of city organizations to step in and actually support the project throughout the night. It required tons of planning, tons of prep, tons of procurement. It required 28 training sites, and it required staff of those training sites. And then it required training of those staff to support the training sites. As you can see, I might be getting chills through my body, trying to ask myself again, why did I succumb myself to 3 years of that project? But I have to say, it was one of the projects that has literally set the stage for who I am as a project manager. To add more spice to the project and to the situation, it was actually a project that was designed and needed to be conducted to ensure that the city of New York and the Department of Homeless Services received funding for their shelter systems. So you can imagine the amount of pressure that I am feeling and the amount of fear that is going through my mind as I am working through what this project is going to be. There wasn't a lot of information that literally said, hey, this is what the project entailed, this is what we needed to do. In fact, there were some things that I had to figure out on the fly and had to incorporate it in the project just to make sure that it happened. That some folks just came to me and said, hey, Darius, we forgot to do the press site setup. And now you're like, I don't know what to do with this. Let's just figure it out. And you're in it and you're moving forward. So as you can imagine, panic would definitely set in when you're looking at a project that has no background information or little background information. And you're having to put this together with such high stakes. And everyone is relying on you to make sure that it happens effectively, efficiently, and on time. Faced with this dilemma, as all I can call it, I had to make a choice in that moment. And that choice was, do I quit and just say, you know what, I'm no longer going to be a project manager, you guys figure it out, don't call me? Or do I push forward and say, I'm going to figure this out and I'm going to do the best that I can and I'm going to make it happen? And of course, you can tell by the rest of this that I did actually figure it out and I did actually step up. It was stressful, but I stepped up and ensured that the work got done. So what was the first thing that I decided to do? Look at my own emotions. I panicked. I'm going to be fair. I didn't have no support. I was there figuring it out, and I had to figure out what was going on. So I had to first address how I felt internally. I had to make sure that I was moving forward with the right mindset, and also just make sure that I wasn't panicking and I wasn't going to make mistakes simply out of fear or out of panic. So addressing myself was the first step. The next thing that I did was I began gathering my information for this project. So I started reaching out to team members and to other people who were a part of stakeholders who were a part of the project last year. And I just asked them, what was your role? What were some things that you did? What do you remember? What were some items and things and tasks that you were asked to do during that time? Because like I mentioned, not everything was documented. There was bits and pieces here and there that I was having to piece together, and the team was the best way to figure out what those pieces actually meant and where those pieces fit in my project timeline. Then the next step that I took was I requested help. I asked for interns, I asked for anyone who can support the project team in moving this work forward, simply because it was literally a lot of work to do. It was a lot of things that needed to get done, and it needed to get done either by me or by someone on my team. And I couldn't put the pieces of the project together and also do the actual legwork of writing documentation, putting together training guides, etc. So I requested help, and luckily I got a little bit of help, so I was happy about that. Next thing that I did was I began to put together a project plan. I built out the scope, I built out the budget, I built out our schedule, I built out the key details of the project. I went and identified who were the stakeholders that needed to participate in the project and what were their roles and responsibilities. I kind of highlighted as much information as I can to ensure that even if I didn't do this project next year, the next project manager would not have to face the fear that I faced. But for the most part, I tried my best to keep documentation of every single thing that happened regarding the project. After putting this project plan together, I went and got buy-in from those that are higher or above, or the higher ups, whatever you want to call them. And I asked them, this is what I'm thinking, this is what I know to be, this is what I'm asking of my team members, and this is what the information that I'm getting back. Am I on the right track? Does this align with what it is that you normally do? And they told me we're good to go. So it was a perfect opportunity to continue to move forward. As I've painted the picture, I'm sure you're asking yourself, well, what was the outcome of this endeavor? Well, there was quite a few outcomes. For starters, there were some moments where we actually superseded the schedule and timeline. And that was fantastic, especially when it came to aligning work internally or within our own agencies. The problems became when we were reaching out to other agencies and we didn't have the right point of contact, we didn't have the right person in place. So those delays ended up slowing down some work that we had gotten from others that needed to support the project. So for example, NYPD was asked to provide a list of the areas that we provided them that would need to be accompanied by a police officer for the volunteer to be safe. And that list took a very long time simply because we didn't have the right person. As I mentioned, we missed the press site setup, and that made us have to figure out what we were going to do in that exact moment. And we were able to put our heads together as a team and figure out exactly what we could do to make sure that happened. Ultimately, though, we actually superseded all expectations on this project. At the end of the work, and as I was going through my postmortem and gathering lessons learned and speaking with the team and our other stakeholders, I was actually informed that this was the best count that they have ever done prior to. And it was a count that had the least amount of issues and amount of setbacks and barriers than previous accounts. And that was an accomplishment for me. I was so ecstatic to see that that was the outcome, simply because it was such a long road to get to that point, especially figuring all those things out. The final outcome that we had was that we had new documentation to go along with next year's project. So it made setting up and doing what we needed to do for the following year, it made it a lot easier. Now with those outcomes, I'm sure you're asking yourself, okay, Darius, so what did you actually take away from that experience? And the truth is, I actually took away that I have way more capabilities than I ever thought I did. I also knew that I had the resilience needed to be an effective project manager. I knew that when the going got tough, I wouldn't get going. And at the same time, I was confident, and it helped me build more confidence in myself and in my abilities to be able to move things forward when there is a little bit more uncertainty than I would truly like to have. The other thing that I learned is that documentation is key. If you're not documenting what happened in the project and what is needed for the project, there are so many pitfalls that you can fall into that would literally derail your project. And that is something that I learned throughout managing that project. The final thing that I took away from that experience is I can do and manage any project that I put my mind to as long as I was willing to fail forward. And what that means is, instead of worrying about whether you were going to fail and just stand still and wait for the right opportunity to do whatever it is that you're doing, or that work initiative or that project, I actually took the reins, moved forward, and was willing to fail even though I was moving forward. And I say that because that's very difficult to do. I say that to say because that is very difficult to do. And it is hard to fail forward. Why? Because a lot of the times we don't want to fail. But each opportunity and each moment that we do fall short is an opportunity that we learn what is necessary to fill the gap for next time. We get to learn from falling short. And I think that's the beauty of life. The beauty of life is that we are capable of being better each and every day. Those were my takeaways. And I'm sharing this story with you because I'm sure like I mentioned earlier, we've all reached that work initiative that has really made us question whether or not we should be working in the field that we're working in. And it's sometimes hard to navigate through that conversation, not only within your head, within your mind, but also within your heart. And being able to conquer those moments, you'll truly figure out who you are, not only as a professional, but also what it actually takes for you to continue to move forward in the career that you've set out to accomplish. Project management is not an easy career, but it is very rewarding and very fulfilling, and you can meet so much new people that can literally change who you are and your perspective across how things get done. If you're not passionate about a career, then you have to sit down and figure out what truly aligns and works for you. In that moment and after doing that project, it showed me what really mattered to me and where I knew my career was going. I'm a biology major, and I'm not saying that I've ever planned to be a project manager from childhood. But after moving that project forward and after holding on to those reins and then accomplishing it successfully for 3 years, it was something that truly set the stage for who I am as a professional moving forward. I hope you take this on your journey moving forward and just implement it on your day-to-day movement at work, in your careers, in your business, in your profession. Just stick it out, keep moving forward, and just take action. If you would like to speak with me about any difficult project that you're having in this moment, please feel free to just reach out. I'm actually going to drop a link in the comment section where you can reach out to me and set up a coaching call, and we can have a conversation about those projects that might be a little bit difficult for you or your team to manage, and you might just need a little bit of guidance. I'm always happy to help professionals and businesses improve how they manage their projects. If you're looking to improve how you manage projects in your organization and you would like to talk to a professional like myself, please feel free to go to our website at pmproconsulting.com and just reach out, schedule a call, and we can have a conversation about what your project needs are. As I mentioned before, I'm your host Darius. If you like this video, please like the video. Please subscribe to the channel if you would like more content around project management, as I'll be posting each and every Friday. And I look forward to catching you in the next video. Thank you and have a fantastic day.